First off, let's get the obvious out of the way. You're probably thinking, of course chairs exist. I might even be sitting on one right now. And yeah, I can see one. I can touch it. If I licked it, don't try this at home, folks, I bet it would taste cherry, dry, maybe a little dusty. These are its properties, right? But here's where it gets wonderfully weird. What is the chair? Secondly, think about this. Imagine an origami crane. You fold a piece of paper and boom, a crane. But is the crane a new thing, or is it just folded paper? If you unfold it, the crane vanishes, poof, but the paper is still there. So the paper can survive unfolding, but the crane can't. They shared the same space, the same atoms, but they had different fates. The paper constituted the crane. One thing, the paper, made up another, the crane. Thirdly, let's zoom in. That paper, or your chair, isn't just one solid thing, is it? It's made of zillions and zillions of tiny particles, atoms, quarks, whatever the smallest bits are. Philosophers call these tiny, indivisible bits simples. So your chair is composed of these simples. This is composition, many things making up one thing. Or do they? Fourthly, and this is a mind-bender, if the chair is just a collection of atoms arranged in a chair shape, is the chair an additional thing on top of those atoms? Think about it. If you count all the atoms in your chair, say 100 sextillion of them, and then you say, and one chair, have you just counted 100 sextillion and one things? Or did you just describe the same stuff in two different ways? This is the problem of overcounting. It feels wrong, doesn't it? Fifthly, let's get destructive, hypothetically, of course. Imagine you take a tiny little shaving off your wooden chair, just a speck. Is it still a chair? Yes, obviously. Another speck. Still a chair. But what if you keep doing this, speck by tiny speck, until there's just a pile of sawdust? When, oh when, did it stop being a chair? Was there one specific speck whose removal was the death blow to its chairness? That feels absurd. This is the Sorites paradox, and it highlights the maddening vagueness of ordinary objects. There's no clear line. Sixthly, consider the infamous ship of Theseus. Imagine you have a wooden ship. Over years, you replace every single plank, every nail, every sail. Is it still the same ship? Now, what if someone collected all the old discarded parts and rebuilt the original ship? Which one is the real ship of Theseus? Or, in our case, which is the real chair if you systematically replaced every part? The confusion! Seventhly, what if we say, okay, there are no composite objects like chairs. There are only simples, those fundamental particles arranged in various ways. This is called Mereological nihilism. Sounds drastic, I know, but it solves so many problems. No overcounting because there's only the atoms. No Sorites paradox because there was never a chair to begin with. Just atoms whose arrangement changed. No ship of Theseus, because neither collection of atoms is the persistent ship. It's just atoms moving around. But wait, that feels empty, doesn't it? Like we've thrown the baby out with the bathwater. Of course chairs are real in some sense. So, eighthly, here's a clever way to think about it, thanks to philosophers like Amy Thomason. What if chair isn't a thing in the same way an atom is a thing, but more like a concept or a label we use when certain conditions are met? If I ask, is there anything to sit on in this room? And you point to an object that meets the criteria for chair, has legs, a seat, a back, is sturdy enough, then yes, a chair exists because those conditions are met. It's about application conditions. The word chair refers to stuff arranged in a way that fulfills the chair role. The atoms don't become a new, spooky entity. They just satisfy the job description of being a chair. Ninthly, this means that chair might be something we impose on the world. The universe just has stuff, fundamental particles, or maybe just fields of energy. And we, with our human needs and language, carve this stuff up. We say, this particular arrangement of stuff, useful for sitting, we shall call a chair. It's a useful shortcut. It's nearly as good as true, as one philosopher put it. It helps us navigate the world. So, to wrap this dizzying journey up, do chairs exist? Well, if you mean, is there a fundamental, mind-independent object called a chair, separate from its atoms, with perfectly defined boundaries, then maybe not. The arguments against it are pretty strong. But if you mean, is chair a valid and incredibly useful concept that describes a specific arrangement and function of matter, a concept that helps us understand and interact with our world, then absolutely, yes. Chairs exist in that sense. They exist as a pattern, a function, a human-defined category that certain collections of atoms fulfill. It's not that the chair is an extra thing. It's that being a chair is something the atoms are doing. The stuff is chairing. Whoa. This whole exploration isn't just about chairs, is it? It's about how we understand reality itself. What other obvious things might be more complicated than they seem? If your brain feels a little bit like it's been put through a philosophical blender, then mission accomplished. These are the kinds of questions that keep thinkers up at night, and hopefully they've sparked some curiosity in you too. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this dive into the bizarre reality of ordinary objects, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so you don't miss our next journey into the wonderfully weird. Thanks for watching.